When we think of the most brutal rulers in history, we usually imagine the loud ones, the tyrants who shouted from podiums, and the conquerors who burned cities. But some of the worst were quieter, calmer, almost forgotten. This is the story of Zhu Haozhou, the 10th emperor of China's Ming Dynasty, a name most people have never heard, but a reign soaked in chaos, cruelty, and total delusion. Zhu Haozhou was born in 1491 to wealth, power, and the certainty that someday he'd rule it all. He became emperor at just 14 years old, which might sound impressive until you realize he wasn't interested in ruling, not even a little. He skipped state meetings, ignored laws, and treated the Forbidden City like a personal theme park. While other emperors studied governance, Zhu built racetracks, kept wild animals, and dressed up as a merchant just to sneak into town to party with prostitutes. At first, his advisors tried to manage things behind the scenes, keep the empire running, protect the image. But Zhu made that harder and harder. He appointed his drinking buddies to high-ranking government jobs. He sold titles for cash. And when one minister tried to rein him in, Zhu had the man beaten, imprisoned, and tortured until his legs stopped working. This wasn't just negligence. It was open mockery. By his 20s, Zhu Haozhou's cruelty had turned creative. He built a fake zoo filled with starving animals and forced prisoners to fight them barehanded. He hosted fake military drills where peasants were dressed up as rebels and executed for sport. He even invented a fake general, a made-up alter ego he called Zhu Shou. Then, and this is real, he started awarding medals to his fake self for winning fake battles. Meanwhile, the real world was crumbling. Bandits ran wild, famine swept the countryside, corruption infected every corner of the empire. But the emperor? He was out riding elephants, staging war games in his backyard, spending tax money on gold armor and giant fish tanks. His worst moment came in 1510, during what's now called the Anlu Rebellion. See, Zhu's favorite eunuch, a man named Lu Jin, had quietly built a massive spy network. He blackmailed, extorted, and tortured his way into total control. At one point, he was skimming up to 50% of all government revenue. When the scandal finally came to light, Zhu didn't take responsibility. He blamed Lu Jin, had him executed, and then mourned him publicly like a fallen hero. He missed the part where he approved everything. As Zhu Haozhou got older, the delusions deepened. He left the capital for months at a time, traveling the countryside in disguise, pretending to be a wandering official. Sometimes he posed as a sheriff, other times a merchant. Once, he even staged a fake kidnapping of himself, just to see if anyone would come rescue him. Nobody did. And when he came back to court, he laughed. They did not. In 1519, an actual rebellion broke out, led by a prince who thought Zhu had gone too far. For the first time in his life, Zhu tried to be serious. He marched out with his army, eager to prove himself. To be fair, he won. But during the victory celebration, he fell off his horse. The injuries got infected, and within a year, Zhu Haozhou was dead. He was just 29 years old. His legacy? An empire weakened, a government humiliated, and a generation of citizens left in poverty. Official historians tried to erase him. To minimize the damage, they claimed he was misguided or misunderstood. But eyewitnesses told a darker story of an emperor obsessed with fantasy, blind to suffering, and completely consumed by power. History remembers the loud tyrants, the generals, the warlords. But sometimes, the most brutal leaders are the ones who never shouted, just laughed, while the world burned around them. Thanks for watching. If this story made you rethink what power can do to a person, consider subscribing. We've got more strange, haunting chapters of history just like this one. See you in the next video.